Hey YouTube! In this lesson we are going to get further into the features of iMS-20 and we're going to take a look at the drums. I've got the same session that I was using in the last lesson, so everything should sound the same. We got that, we got this. But let's change our drums. And you see we got a step sequencer similar to what we had in Technobox 2, but this is a little bit easier to work with because we can see all of the parts at once. So you see that we got the kick over here, and it's limited to going through the first 4 steps right here, and then it goes right back. And the way it's doing that is with this cable connection telling it to go reset back. We'll deal with all this a little bit later. And one of the handy things about working with synthesis is that we can change any one of these sounds. Here's a great example. I'm going to do some industrial jazz funk fusion here. So I go into my sound edit, and this kick's just not going to work for what I'm trying to do. So I got to give this a lot more character. And what we're hearing right now is, you notice the VCOs are both down to 0. What we're hearing is just this, the peak on the low pass filter. Was when you max out the peak, you're actually hearing the filter, and that's a sine wave. So that's how you get a sine wave, by the way. As you notice, we don't have sine waves over here on these oscillators. And I should probably also point out the patch connection that we have here is using the reverse of the envelope generator 1. So envelope generator 1 is right here, and that's the attack. And as you increase that, now it's acting as a release. So it's giving it a lot longer tail. But yeah, this is kind of boring. We need to add something to this. So I'm going to throw in our saw waves here. And there's really no mystery to working with any of this. You just kind of play around with it until you hear something that you're liking. There is some theory behind it, but you're going to pick that up just playing around here. So I'm bringing up the filter just a little bit and listen to how that sounds. Listen to the character of it. I've got this kind of a bong, bong, bong thing going on. I'm going to reduce the attack time a little. And I'm liking the sound of that, so I'm going to reduce the filter again because we really want to just keep the low end in a kick. And you can use the high pass filter, which is comes before the low pass. You can use that to kind of add a little distortion and peak it at an area that you want to have that specific harmonic frequency distorting at. Alright, I'm liking that. So let's listen to that in the mix here. I don't like this tom, so I'm going to drop that all together. I'll drop that second snare here. And now we got this whole track here that's not doing anything. So we can use that as our bass line. Let's go into our deep kick and save that. And I'm going to build a bass patch off of that. So I save that and go back and now edit the tom sound and load up. So now we've got the same exact sound on track 4 that we had on track 1. Let's get rid of the envelope because we're not going to be playing around with that anymore. And let's start to let in a lot more of the low frequency. So I'm liking the way that sounds. Let's see how that plays with our kick. And we can do that by going into the sequence editor here, hitting play. And now we got our XY pad that we can play along with. Now you're probably hearing that there's a panning that's going on. It's going left and right, left and right, left and right. And the reason for that is over here in the volume and panning section, which you can play around with on this one. And as you see here, it's going left, right, back and forth throughout the whole thing. And you can use the record function to add in notes or volume or panning or any of that. So let's bob our heads, tap our feet, listen to the drums, and hit record. And now it's recorded the little bass line there. And if you decide that you don't want it to fill up the entire bar here, you can just drop out the bits that you don't want. Alright, I'm liking it. It seems to be working out pretty well together. I'm going to go over to my synth now, and now I can play along with all this that we've been doing here. Well, that's not going to work out too well because we've got two bass sounds now, so let's change this bass into a lead. And the quickest and sloppiest way of doing that is to change the octave that this is in. With these knobs. And you've got this pitch knob here, and I'm going to switch that up to full, and that's pushing that up a full octave as well. So we've got the max octaves here, and then I'm pushing it up another octave. And let's let some more of the high end in. And working with one of these XY pads is really easy. You just play your thumb around, listen to what it sounds like. Okay, I know what that sounds like now. Alright, so now I got a basic idea of what this is sounding, and I can start playing around with it. And a key thing to jazz is playing around with it, just noodling around, and when you find something that you like, you repeat that a few times, and it seems very deliberate, and it's a good way to hide your own mistakes. And now you're playing music.